One of the beautiful things about the wine industry is that it brings really creative people together.
People out here have really fought hard to keep Napa very pure, you know.
It's about wine and it's about love.
If you want to meet some of the actual players and characters of this business, and trust me, there are hundreds of characters in this business, probably the best place to start would be to talk to one of your local wine shops that has relationships here.
I went and got some glassware, brought it out, and Jeff said, "Would you like to try the wine?" I said, "Absolutely." So he poured a little in a glass. I went upstairs to the office and literally just took a smell of it and a small taste, and I literally ran back downstairs. I thought, I've got to catch this guy before he leaves, because this wine is fabulous.
I'm Italian, you know, we cannot talk without using our hands. It is physically impossible.
Wine sort of sets a lot of different art forms off in all of us, and for me it sets off music and food. I mean, first the wine I think has to be really interesting and good wine, you know, but then sharing it in an environment that really nurtures the wine. I think we try to use music as much as we can. I mean, I love to have performers out here. We have the guitars. People walk into this tasting room and they see the wine and they see the guitars, they get a smile. Our winemaker, Christoph Anderson, is a very, very talented guy.
Jeff's a pretty easygoing guy. He's got a lot of respect for what we do in the vineyard with his background in agriculture, and so it's a real pleasure to work with a small family winery, especially when it's a family that has the right approach. So it's not a bad thing to be part of the Gargiulo family.
Having spent a lifetime farming, and prior to wine grapes, we were farming tomatoes and strawberries commercially for the fresh produce markets. Sooner or later, the farmer and the wine had to come together, and we bought our first vineyard in 1994, which we call the Money Road Ranch. Started growing grapes. Never really thought we'd make wine, but of course, when the grapes became mature, we couldn't stand the fact that we grew these grapes and we weren't going to taste the wine out of these grapes. So we made a little bit of wine in 1998, a little bit more in 1999. It's still a work in progress.
And his dad worked him hard, man. And I always felt like, man, he wanted to be on that tour bus with me, you know, living the rock star life, and he was back there just little by little doing what he needed to do. But now he can go, you know what? I can let my hair down a little bit. I can be a little bit of a teenager. I can throw parties and play music, and I can put out a great, great wine.
For me, when I have a couple glasses of wine, I go to music right away. And it's almost a natural that this guitar or a guitar is going to end up in my hand before I finish.
I can tell you that there's nothing more satisfying than when you finally get to crush these grapes and you start tasting the juice, and then you follow it through fermentation. But the part of this that never loses any interest is meeting the people. I mean, we get to meet fabulous people here, and to watch them experience the dream and experience what they want to experience in the wine through us, you never get tired of that.
We are underneath a mountain. It's pretty cool, isn't it? We're here at the Hourglass Estate Vineyard in the heart of Napa Valley, just 2 miles north of the town of St. Helena. It's a really special place. The story of how Hourglass came into existence kind of rolls through the wine country inn that my father had envisioned in the early 70s. And his idea was that Napa Valley is just such an incredibly beautiful place that people would want to come and visit and maybe come here as a retreat for weekends and so forth. Essentially, I am a Napa Valley native, yes. I graduated St. Helena High in 1982, and I was chewing my arms off to get out of here, and I wanted to be as far away from Napa Valley as I possibly could get. So I spent a lot of time in London, checked out the whole music scene there. I was playing a lot of music at the time, and in 1989, 1990, right around the time my father passed away, I decided to kind of redirect. At this point, I mean, Napa's just wound completely into my soul, and I knew that I wanted to come back, take this little 4-acre hillside vineyard and redevelop it into a Cabernet site.
After I tasted Hourglass for the first time, I called Jeff and I said, "When are you releasing finally?" And he said, "Well, we're going to release next Monday." I I said, well, you know, the spectator party's coming. We're doing the cult flight, Harlan Screaming Eagle Bryant. I want to put the chalkboard up with Hourglass next to it. He said, I'll have it there this afternoon. So, you know, we put it up, and we believed in it. I mean, it's a great wine.
And I said, gee, Mom, wouldn't we potentially be better off replanting the vineyard to Cabernet and doing a small brand around it? And her first response to me was, gee, Jeff, that's great, but what the hell do you know about farming? It can't be that complicated. Of course, it's extremely complicated. And she knew that.
So it beat out at least 1 or 2 100 Point Barker wines. You know, Jeff appreciated that. A little buzz all of a sudden around the valley, because it was an unheard of wine at that time.
All of us who do this are trying to interact with our specific vineyards to extract the very best that we can out of those vineyards. But it's a very terroir-driven philosophy, really, that is driving this paradigm shift.
Jeff got a call. I need a band for the after party. Do you know any bands in the valley that would work for this? And he said, no, I can't think of any. He said, but you know, David plays bass. Maybe I'll see if he wants to put something together.
The first rehearsal, David hasn't played bass in 10 years. I haven't played guitar in 10 or 12 years. And we get together with this idea that we're going to try to get the band back together. And that there was a second rehearsal is a miracle.
There are lots of similarities in the descriptions of, I think, wine and music.
There's something about drinking a glass of wine, you're taking a moment for yourself.
If you can experience a little bit of wine every day, you get some pleasure in every day. Call that elite? I don't think so. It's part of life.
So you have all of these guys who come here who are terrific winemakers, but they're also great painters or great musicians or poets or whatever. That creative energy infuses everything that they do.
The wine, what the wine is, it's the damn romance.
And that's what I like. Straight up wine, straight up food, and straight up music, and sharing it with people who appreciate that.